What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday, and welcome to Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, just joined as always by Tyler Stafford, and a rare Saturday appearance by both of us because the Astros decided to get busy before the holiday season begins. They finally did something. The person I texted telling I was bored a couple of days ago got back to me Friday morning and said, "You're not going to be bored for much longer." And I was not, because on Friday, the Astros, Rays, and Pirates swung a fascinating three-team trade that netted the Astros Mike Burrows, the sort of pitcher that they have sought all winter, a young, controllable starting pitcher. Mike Burrows has 6 years of club control remaining as he comes to the Astros. The Astros gave up Jacob Melton and Anderson Brito, but they went to Tampa Bay in the deal. So a lot of weirdness as to like how this three-team trade came about. Dana Brown wasn't really specific when he talked on Friday about how they got the Rays into this whole situation. But it doesn't really matter for our purposes, Tyler, because the Astros they attacked their top priority. Their stated priority this offseason was to bolster the rotation. It was to find a young, controllable starter that can be a foundational piece, maybe, of future rotations, and they found that in Mike Burrows.
Yeah, we'll give you credit. You sent out an I'm bored text, and you got a three-way trade out of it. So way to go, Chandler. Yeah, I mean, the Astros needed pitching. Seems like exactly what they needed. Now, hypothetically, for someone who has been with children for the last 48 hours, who is Mike Burrows?
So Mike Burrows is a 26-year-old fella. Turned 26 in November, so happy belated birthday to him. He was an 11th round pick of the Pirates in 2018. The Pirates are not very good. They're actually kind of a laughing stock. But the one thing they do have, they have surplus young pitching. They have a lot of very good, young, controllable major league starting pitchers. Paul Skeens, obviously we know about him, but they've got Mitch Keller, they've got Graham Ashcraft, they've got Bubba Chandler. They had Yohan Oviedo, who they used in the Red Sox trade to get the password kid to come play outfield for them. So they needed to improve their lineup. So in order to do that, they acquired Brandon Lau from the Rays in this three-team trade. But the whole goal for the Astros was to get Mike Burrows. Mike Burrows was someone that they had identified at the winter meetings, even probably before the winter meetings. They had Mike Burrows on their board as a target, as someone that they thought made sense for them. I will say this, within, I'd say, 15 minutes of the news getting out there that the Astros had agreed to this, that it was in medicals and it was getting done, I got a text from someone that I trust that is not affiliated with any of these three teams, but is in a front office elsewhere. And all they said was, "I love," capital LOVE, Mike Burrows. So, asked why that is. This is a person that is on the analytics side, deals in R&D, deals in kind of pitch shapes, and that's that side of the game, more so than maybe gut feel and on-field stuff. But, asked why this person loved Mike Burrows so much. And I put the quote in a story I wrote in The Athletic last night, so I'll read it out loud here. It says he has plus command of a 5-pitch arsenal with a fastball up to 98. His changeup and 12-6 curveball make him extremely pitchable to lefties. He was a reverse splits guy. Lefties did nothing against him last year. Righties, he had a little more trouble with, and we'll talk about what the Astros are going to do to help him in that situation.
I have a guess.
Yep, but said his changeup and 12-6 curveball make him extremely pitchable to lefties. The concern, if this person had one, was workload. And I think that's where we're going to go in a little bit as to what the Astros still need to do and what is still out there to be done. But Mike Burrows did throw 96 big league innings last year. He threw 128 big league innings, or not big league. He threw 128 innings last year between AAA Indianapolis and the big leagues. So he had Tommy John in 2023. So 2025 last season was really his first full season back from TJ. So seeing 128 innings probably shouldn't be surprising. They probably wanted to baby him a little bit. But Dana Brown said on the Astros on the Zoom call yesterday with reporters that they would be very happy if they can get around 160 productive innings from Mike Burrows this season. That's kind of who he is. Doesn't walk guys. I think he's walked like 2.8 guys per 9 innings in his big league career. He throws strikes. The command is there. The velo, he can get it up to 98. I think this is a situation where, is he a frontline kind of 1 or 2? Probably not. But the person I referenced earlier that I was talking to, they said that, if he gets in and the projectability, he sees him as an average to an above average major league starter for a very long time, which is really, what the Astros need at this point.
Yeah, I mean, 160 innings out of anybody is like, you sign up for that from anybody. That would be great. And he still has 6 years of team control. So I mean, this is essentially a prospect swap. Like, yeah, he had a year in the big leagues, but he's got 6 years of team control left. You're essentially swapping 2 of your prospects for another prospect, but this prospect has already thrown 100 pretty good innings in the big leagues, and that's what the Astros need right now. I think it's hard to weigh a trade where it's like, well, what could this package have gotten you elsewhere? But I mean, if you told me that you can trade Jacob Melton, a guy who, has a lot of upside, but look, he's not there. There's not path for him to play in Houston with Jake Myers and Zach Cole and the rest of the outfield, and Anderson Brito, who, no offense to any pitching prospect, but if you are not on the 40 man, you're not a real prospect to me. Like, I just, pitching prospects are not real, and until they get to the big leagues, they just aren't. Look at Forrest Whitley. Look at anybody you want to. Like, that is no disrespect to this burrito man, but he is not a real prospect yet, and so that's a throw in. You might see him 5 years from now pop up somewhere, but the world will be different by the time that he is playing Major League Baseball. So you basically swapped a guy that you weren't going to be able to use anyway in Jacob Melton and got 6 years of a good pitcher. A good trade to me. And you'll notice, I don't know, maybe, how were your mentions? What was the general vibe of people in the mentions? Because I have a theory here.
Well, first, if you're watching this on YouTube, remember, like the video. It helps us a lot. I'm going to ask you, please, please, please like the video. That's all you have to do. The interesting dichotomy or juxtaposition of this deal was, the reporting got out and it got broken that, this deal was in the works. They were talking about it. And like, it was
who did that, Chandler?
Ken Rosenthal and I had a night. We had a good day yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah, it was fun. But so we got the news out there that this was working and it was in medicals. And then Ken Rosenthal, the GOAT, broke about 20 minutes later that the Orioles were going to acquire Shane Baz. Mm-hmm. And as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Tyler, Shane Baz was someone that the Astros had identified as a target. They had a ton of significant interest in him. And then you looked at what the Baltimore Orioles gave up to get Shane Baz. They gave up 4 prospects in addition to the number 33 overall pick in the upcoming draft in June.
Yeah, no thank you.
That shows a couple things. One,
he also has what, like 3 years of control left? Like,
right. So Shane Baz has 3 years of team control left. Granted, Shane Baz has a far more extensive and more established major league track record than Mike Burrows, which drove his price up. But it should just go to show you that the prices on the trade market for starting pitching are exorbitantly high. To the point,
he doesn't have that much more of a track record. Like, he really does. I mean, he has one more year of being in the big, because I mean, Shane Baz threw 30 innings in his first 2 years in the big leagues, was out all 2023, pitched 80 really good innings in 2024, and then was below average for 160 innings last season. And that's it. But now you get a guy with double the team control, and no. Look, if that's what you're going to have to give up, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So
I will say this about Boz. If you go look at his splits at Steinbrenner Field, which is a shoebox, and if you go look at his stats outside of Steinbrenner Field, he was probably victimized heavily. He was not probably, he was victimized heavily by pitching in a minor league ballpark last season. His stats away from Steinbrenner Field are very good. There is, I mean, Shane Boz he's a first round pick. Like he's got frontline, like
yeah,
level stuff. Like he's got a way higher ceiling than Mike Burrows and is certainly has a more extensive major league track record, which is why he costs more money. Mike Burrows, for as good as the Astros think he is and what they maybe can do to make him better, I don't think if you hooked anyone up to Truth Serum, they'd say this is a future ace. This is a future frontline, Cy Young candidate. People say that
you didn't pay future ace money. You didn't pay
right.
future ace prospects.
So that's what I'm getting to, right? So I think initially Astros fans, before they saw what Boz got or what the return for Boz was, I think initially Astros fans were a little bit like, oh, well, fans grow attached to prospects. They saw Anderson Brito strike out the world in the Arizona Fall League. They've heard everyone say how great Jacob Melton is in AAA, and fans inherently get attached to prospects. So they saw those guys and were not thrilled. But then when they saw what Boz retrieved, I think everyone was like, okay, if that's the prices going around, if that's the market standard, if that's what is the value on the market, like we're perfectly fine with this. And I mean, this is my opinion. I think the Astros did pretty well because I think, as you kind of intimated there, Tyler, like they traded two pretty redundant prospects for Mike Burrows, right? Like we saw last season, Jacob Melton got passed over by Zach Cole toward the end of the year. Like Jacob Melton was not on the 26-man roster until the final day of the season when they had to put all these guys on the IL and they needed bodies to play game 162. Like Zach Cole had passed him over throughout September. He was getting starts in the outfield over Cole. He got a roster spot over Jacob Melton. So essentially, like you already had a center field surplus coming into the season with Myers, with Cole, and Melton. Like you were going to trade one of those guys. And look, maybe Jacob Melton morphs into maybe you do regret trading him. Maybe you do regret trading Anderson Brito, because when you trade with the Tampa Bay Rays, you should always have some trepidation, right? Like, what do they see that we don't? Like, this is a very smart team that, finds ways to unearth things that other teams can't. So I understand the trepidation, but you traded a redundant prospect in Melton. And then with Brito, look, we could look up in 3 years and Anderson Brito could be a great reliever. He could be a mid-rotation starter. There's still some question marks out there. So whether he's a starter or a reliever, but I think that the Astros player development, specifically pitching development infrastructure, has kind of earned the benefit of the doubt to develop other pitching prospects that they can absorb this loss and just develop more guys. Like, I think if there's one area I'm probably not worried about within the Astros system, it's finding and developing pitching, because it's something they have been good at for the last 10 or 15 years. They have shown that they've been good at it. I'm not saying Anderson Brito is a nothing loss. Like, he's obviously like a well-regarded prospect. Tampa Bay really wanted him, but I don't think he's irreplaceable in a way. So I think, in my view of it, they gave away two pretty redundant prospects for, again, 6 years of control of a starter that can right now slot into, and I know everyone's beholden to, is he going to be the number 2 or number 3? Or, like, it doesn't matter. Like, the number, like what number they are in the rotation doesn't matter. But he can slot into the middle of your rotation. He can, he can be a solid 3 or a 4. And I think for 6 years of that, giving up these two guys, I think the Astros got out of this pretty well.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, you only have 26 roster spots. Like, when you trade people, sometimes those guys are going to be good for other teams, but that's a future you problem. Right now you're worried about 20 like that's the other thing is that someone who's watched the Astros for a very long time, there was a good chunk of my life where it was just hoarding as many people as possible and hoping that some of them would be good. You already got through that. You already have a good team. Now you just got to get the final pieces that you need to be competitive this year. And look, like you said, if Anderson Brito is a really good reliever in 3 years and you need a good reliever, you can go trade for Anderson Brito. Or, like you can do this again. It's not like they're not allowed to play for your team at some point, but you needed a starter this year. You got 6 years of control from a guy. Yeah, good trade in my opinion. Like they needed guys to fill these innings. You've got another guy that you can throw in that rotation. And again, you're not looking for top end of the rotation. So if you already have Hunter Brown, and again, Hunter Brown wasn't a top end of the rotation guy until a year and a half ago. So who knows what top end of the rotation talent looks like. I mean, look, Mike Burrows throws in the mid 90s with a big curveball and good slider, but
Great changeup.
Great changeup. And, hasn't been able to get righties too well. If only there were a pitch that the Astros could teach him that would kind of barrel in real fast on righties over on that side. One that kind of sinks that way. Maybe they can teach him how to throw one of those and he'll be real good against righties. But even if he's not, even if he has a 3.5 ERA for 160 innings, that's a 2.5 win player. Like that's a really, really good player. Like if he does not improve at all from what he did last year, he already makes the Astros significantly better.
Should be noted too that the Astros got an up close and personal look at Mike Burrows last year. He pitched against them at PNC Park. Actually, the day after they faced Paul Skeens, and actually got to Paul Skeens as much as you can get to Paul Skeens. They faced Mike Burrows the next day and struck out 6 times in 5 1/3 scoreless innings. So that could be one of those things, honestly, where like they watched this kid and were like, "Oh man, like we should look at him. We should find him." But it's funny that you mentioned his inability to get right-handed hitters out, or relative inability to get right-handed hitters out for his major league career. Right-handers have a 740 OPS off of him. Lefties have a 666 OPS off of him. So it's relatively speaking. But it's funny that you mentioned that because Dana Brown on the Zoom call with reporters yesterday did say without prompt that they will be introducing a sinker to Mike Burrows' repertoire. I don't really know that they need to introduce it because he
threw it a handful. He introduced it last year, but didn't use it too much.
Yeah, he threw it. I'm looking right now. He threw 86 total sinkers last year, so that's nothing. But
hey, do you have his Savant page? Can you pull it up and put it on the screen real quick? Because I want to see if I'm reading this wrong. Will you go down to his like the pitch arsenal where you can see the heat map
right here? For everyone watching on YouTube, we do have Mike Burrows' Baseball Savant page up. If you're listening on the audio in any audio platform, go to baseballsavant.com, type Mike Burrows' name into the search bar, and you can pull this up on your own when you get home.
Savant is the coolest website in the world, but specifically the slider. This is from the catcher's perspective, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He is a right-handed pitch. Okay. I guess he just nails that outside corner with the slider. So anyway, I was just curious if I was reading that correctly. The curveball really sits in the bottom of the zone. The changeup is just classic right on left changeup, just dotting that outside bottom part of the zone there. And then the fastball is a very Verlander-esque fastball where it's just, I'm going to throw it straight down the middle and a little bit up, and then you just hope that you get under it a lot. But you can see he only threw 85 sinkers?
86 sinkers. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can even see on this heat map, like there isn't a ton of stuff in to right-handed hitters.
Yeah.
The changeup's probably the only thing, but you don't see a ton of right-on-right changeups. Now, Mike Burrows' changeup is good enough metrically. Like when you look at the run value and you look at everything, Mike Burrows' changeup is probably good enough to throw right on right a lot, but he needs something else to keep right-handed hitters off balance, to not have to rely on a four-seamer. And this is the other thing. If you look metrically at his four-seamer, it did not perform well last season. He did not have a great run value on his four-seam fastball. It got hit around a lot. So, and again, I do feel like we're talking about Hunter Brown here, because before Hunter added the sinker, his four-seamer was getting hit around a lot. And again, I'm not saying these are the same pitcher, but they're the reason and rationale behind, maybe incorporating the sinker more really kind of resonates with both guys. So you'll see that, I would imagine, the minute that Mike Burrows gets to West Palm Beach or gets to on board after he takes his like HR courses. Like he'll be like the third HR course will be the life of a sinker. So you'll see that. I think certainly, it's the sort of trade that, as one person in the organization described to me yesterday, they said it's a good start. And when you say it's a good start, that inherently means kind of, you've got more coming, like what's next. So if acquiring Mike Burrows was a good start, Tyler, what do you think comes next, or what would you like to see come next?
To me, that is Jake Myers adjacent. That, okay, you still have this trade chip. Also, trading Jacob Melton further shows that they really believe in Zach Cole, because they traded the other guy who was in a similar path as him. So that makes Jake Myers a little bit more expendable. But again, good start, great. But like, if the team goes in the way they are now, again, they have to figure out the Paredes and Walker situation. I assume that's what that means too. But they don't have more prospect. It's not like they're going out to trade for more significant upgrades, other than if it's coming from Isaac Paredes it's coming from the major league team. It's shuffling the major league team, but they don't have more like prospect ammo really to go and get more major league help. They essentially have, Melton was their second overall prospect. So yeah, good start is just, okay, we've got this guy. Now we got to figure out what to do with Myers, Paredes, and Walker. And this kind of clarifies it, because now you're able to trade for the best player when you're trading Paredes and Myers. It doesn't necessarily have to be a number 3 starter, because you have one now. Obviously you still need pitching help. Like, you're always going to be looking for that, but you're not boxed into it has to be a team that has young, controllable pitching. Now you can just go get who makes the most sense for your team, or you can sit on it and it's fine, because you've got your rotation in a way that you're going to feel relatively comfortable. Again, you're always going to want more pitching, you're always going to want more of these other things, but I agree, it's a good start. I will say, reading your tweet of Burrows Melton burrito, I did go get the new Taco Bell quesarito immediately.
It's not new.
It's back.
It's back.
Okay,
yes.
it's
like
back.
It's like the McRib. It goes away and then comes back.
It's nothing like the McRib. It's delicious. The McRib is disgusting. You people are freaks that like the McRib. So anyway, I went and got that. So I got some Taco Bell in this trade's honor, and that was a good start as well to my day.
I kind of disagree that they're like going to sit on it. Like, I think they're.
I don't think they're going to. I'm just saying, like, if they did, it's not like a disaster. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to do something. But I'm saying, if the season started today, you're not like panicking that you're not ready for the season.
Yeah. Like, Dana Brown has somebody got a hold of Dana Brown from his first year here to now his fourth year here, and has turned him into the master of just GM talk, of talking the size of his mouth, saying absolutely nothing. He got asked all the questions yesterday that I know all fans are clamoring for. I asked him about the infield, like whether he has moved off that stance of not trading from his infield. He was asked about, what moving Jacob Melton means for Jake Myers, and basically said, we love these guys, but we're not taking anything off the table. And in one breath would say, like, we're always open for business, like we're open for anything, and then would follow that up with, but if we go into spring training with all 5 of these infielders, then I'm going to feel great about it. Like, then we've got a plan for it. So no real answers, other than the fact that Dana made it pretty clear that they're not done, that they're not, this was not the extent of their offseason. I think, Tyler, they do have enough ammo to go make another trade. I don't think and that's why what I just said about the redundancy of the 2 prospects they gave up in Brito and Melton. Like, I don't think for the 2026, because you have to remember like how Dana Brown is navigating this, right? Like, he's in the final year of his contract. Like, he doesn't care so much right now about the 2028 and the 2029 Astros. Like, he cares about building the 2026 Astros.
To be clear, I don't care about those teams either.
Well, neither does Dana. So
yeah,
like, Jacob Melton was not, in their minds at least, and what we've heard them say from their organizational position, Jacob Melton was not going to be a substantial difference maker on the 2026 Astros.
Correct.
Anderson Brito just turned 21 years old. He's never pitched above high A. Sure, like Jake Bloss once upon a time made a start after starting the year in low A, but that was an extenuating circumstance. Like, Anderson Brito was not going to be a major factor into the 2026 Astros. So from that standpoint, the Astros didn't do anything on Friday that I feel like really made them hurt for 2026, which is why, they still have enough to where they could make a trade that hurts more in 2026. Like, I'm talking Paredes, I'm talking Walker, I'm talking Myers. They could trade one of those guys who, as we speak right now, would have a significant role in the 2026 Astros. They can trade one of those guys along with some other guys, maybe in their farm system, some guys that are blocked, some guys that, they don't see roles for. And they've still got enough ammo to go out and make another trade for maybe a more established pitcher, maybe a more established person or player that has more extensive track record than Mike Burrows, but maybe doesn't have as much team control left. Like, you're paying for what they've done instead of what they could do. So I think, if given their druthers, I think they'd like to add another starting pitcher. I think organizationally, that is what they are talking about. I think they would like a solid number 2 or 3, a someone that has done it before, someone that has a little bit more experience at the major league level than Mike Burrows. So, is that I can't start to give you names because I don't know. I don't think it comes on the free agent market because the prices remain very, very high. I still think if they can swing a trade with another team for a more established number 2 or 3 starter to slot right behind Hunter Brown, or maybe, right behind Hunter Brown and Christian Javier, like, I think that would be their goal. I think that would be their intention.
Yeah. What I meant by that was that it's not going to be a prospect for up and coming pitching prospect. Yeah, it's going to be a guy with 1 or 2 years of control that you can count on for this year, and you're going to have to give up Jake Myers or Isaac Paredes or Christian Walker in addition to some lottery ticket guys. I didn't know you could trade picks.
Yeah, you can
do that.
Yeah, you can. I think you can only trade the competitive. I need to look it up, but yes, you can trade draft picks now.
You should be able to trade all draft picks. That'd be fun. I mean, it'd be chaos, but it would be fun.
The chaos is fun.
I know. Why can't you? Well, who cares?
I don't really. I don't know, but you can trade. I still think the rule is, and again, I should know this. I should Google it very quickly, but I don't have time. I don't think you can trade like standard picks, like in one, like the Astros are picking 17th next year. I don't think they can trade the 17th.
No, they can't.
They can't trade what's 17 plus, like they can't trade their second round pick. Like, but they could trade the Hunter Brown PPI pick because it's in a comp round. They could trade the Framber Valdez qualifying offer pick because it's in the comp round. Like they could do that. Now, I don't think this team is going to be in the market of giving away draft picks, given where their farm system stands, given what they just did to further deplete their farm system. I don't think that would be their goal. But, yes, the draft pick thing was interesting. Man, I cannot get over the Orioles gave up so much for Shane Baz, and the Orioles can do that because their farm system is absolutely loaded. So the Astros do not they don't have that issue. They do not have a loaded farm. As someone told me yesterday, like the Astros could not have even attempted to match that package.
No. And I'm not matching that for Shane Baz. Like, no offense, but I don't want could be top of the rotation guy. Like if I'm trading for somebody, you better already be, if I'm paying that much for somebody, you better be that good this year. Again, in the Astros situation, because they care about this year specifically. They've got an aging core. They've got people that are going to be free agents in a couple of years. Like they need to win now, and they can figure out what to do in 2029 when that fake year gets here. That that's not a real year yet.
Yeah, and I think we sort of hinted at this earlier, but the one thing that and the reinforcing the reason why I think the Astros also need to still keep exploring the starting pitching market. Like we said, Mike Burrows threw 128 in the third innings last year between the major leagues and AAA. He's never thrown more than 95 innings in any other professional season. It should be as we will continue to reiterate, Mike Burrows is now only the second pitcher on the Houston staff to throw more than 86 innings in the big leagues last year. The other one is Hunter Brown. So they still have a workload question mark. Like Dana Brown can say 160 innings from Mike Burrows would be great, but saying that's one thing, him actually doing it, he's never done that. Yeah. So I still think they've given themselves a lot of insurance in Ryan Weiss, friend of the pod, and Nate Pearson, also friend of the pod. I think there is a thought in the organization that one or both of them could end up in the bullpen, that they could end up as Brad Peacock types, swingman.
Maybe the guy who has exclusively pitched from the bullpen in his entire big league career might end up in the bullpen.
Nate Pearson, sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But like, again, as we've talked about ad nauseum here, usually about AJ Blueball, like they're going to stretch them out in spring training because there's no harm in stretching these guys out as starters. And then you read and react once spring training's over. Mm-hmm. And that's when you make your decisions. But I think they could get to a point where if they add another starter, if they add another established starter, you look at a five-some, or what's a five-some? A quartet? No, a quartet's four.
You got it.
A quintet. Quintet, got it. You can look at a quintet of Hunter Brown, Christian Javier, Mike Burrows, insert other starter acquired, and Spencer Arrighetti. Mm-hmm. And like that's a pretty compelling 5-man rotation. Like and you've got enough depth. And if you want to go to a 6-man, you've got Ryan Weiss. Early in the season, I don't have the schedule in front of me what their off days look like, but they always have stretches where they like being in 6-man rotations. Dana Brown has said numerous times that he likes deploying a 6-man rotation. So you could even think of it as a 6-man rotation, add Ryan Weiss to the back, and you've got 6 starters. And then you've got Nate Pearson stretched out to where he can come in and be kind of a hybrid, bullpen, long man, swing man kind of guy. And then you've got your traditional relievers. Like it's never a bad idea to have a ton of depth, because I even saw there's a comment on my story last night, and it was funny. And the other commenters have done the job for me, but basically this reader and subscriber, who I'm very happy subscribes, please subscribe to The Athletic, listed all the starting pitchers. The 6 I just listed, plus, Lance McCullers, Jason Alexander, AJ Blueball, all these Hayden Wesneski and Ronel Blanco, whenever they get back, and basically he listed all these guys and was like, I think we have too much starting pitching.
No such thing.
It's like, there is no such thing,
No.
because I think we said that, or I think that was maybe talked about last year too. It's like, oh, where are they going to find innings for these guys? And then, midway through July, you're scrambling to find Jason Alexander and Brandon Walter off the scrap heap to start games for you, to start meaningful games for you. I think this is why you do this too, because I mean, they had Jason Alexander, who, no offense to Jason Alexander, was a godsend for this team for 2 months last year. But like, he started on Sunday Night Baseball with the American League West on the line against the Seattle Mariners. Like, you want someone a little more established. You want someone with a little higher ceiling, with better stuff. And like, they're guarding against, and I think this is prudent of them, they're guarding against just what has become inevitable, and that is that pitchers get hurt. Pitchers miss time. It's not necessarily Tommy John. It's not necessarily flexor tendon. It's not necessarily season-ending surgeries, but they wake up and their shoulders hurt. They wake up and their elbows hurt, and
they get hit with the line drive in batting practice.
Right, like, pitchers get hurt, and they've got to guard against it. And I think they want to make sure that. I really, really don't think, even though we have talked about it since the day the season ended, I really don't think there's enough appreciation for how difficult it's going to be to replace Framber Valdez's innings.
Yeah.
Because not only did, like, the volume of innings is one thing. Like, replacing a guy that could roll out of bed and throw 195 innings a year, that's one thing. Like, he gave you volume and performance. Like, it was 195 above league average innings.
Yeah. Like, hot take. That's why he's going to make $200 million. He's really good.
Right. That's hard to replace. And the Astros, in my opinion, they're being prudent of giving themselves a lot of options, of giving themselves a lot of places where they're not loading up on guys that can only go one inning. They're not loading up. Like, I think the Ryan Weiss and the Nate Pearson signings are evidence of that. Like, at full strength, those guys probably trend toward bullpen arms at full strength. But how many times is this team going to be at full strength?
And B, you gotta keep finding people. Look, you need 4 of these guys to work out. Hunter Brown's going to be fine.
I mean, do you?
Knock on wood somewhere.
That's the thing. Like, you don't know this about any pitcher.
No, but you have 4 rotation spots that you got to find good pitchers for. And it's better to have 12 of them and hope that 4 of them work out than to have 5 of them and hope that 4 of them work out. So you just keep acquiring guys. And that's also why having multiple years of team control is important, because, if Mike Burrows twists his ankle walking to the mound in the first week of the season, that's okay. You have other guys. You're not putting your season on, is Mike Burrows the answer for the whole year? And you didn't pay for that either, because you weren't thinking that Jacob Melton was your answer for the whole season. Now, listen, Jacob Melton is no longer on the Astros. I wish him the best of luck. I do want to point this out just for fun, for everybody. So last season, Jacob Melton took just over 70 plate appearances. Would you like to take a guess at the second highest ground ball rate among hitters last season? Well, what do you think the second highest was? Just give me a number.
64%.
63% ground ball rate at 70 plate appearances and up. I know that's a low stat number there, but that's all Jacob Melton played. So 63.5% ground ball rate by a gentleman named Blake Dunn for the Reds. Jacob Melton had an 80.5% ground ball rate, way, way higher than anyone else. He's super fast. He can beat out a lot of those. But again, that's not a guy that you're circling as like, this guy's going to change the 2026 season. He may figure it out and he may be really good in a couple of years. But you were not counting on him in any sort of way for this season.
Yeah, this was a trade to make the 2026 Astros better. And within by doing it, you gave yourself the upside and the potential that you made the 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31 Astros better too, because Mike Burrows, again, you have 6 years of club control on him. So you gave yourself, as what Dana Brown said yesterday, you gave yourself a guy that could be a pillar of your rotation. Is he going to be a pillar of your rotation in 2026? Probably not, but he's a better option in the 2026 rotation than the current group of candidates you had to put in there. So I don't think they're done. I think they certainly need a backup catcher. Dana Brown talked yesterday about maybe some bullpen help. But I think they're still going to remain focused on finding another starting pitcher, finding someone that maybe closes the gap between Hunter Brown and the rest of the rotation. I'm not saying they're going to go out and trade for someone that is Hunter Brown or someone that is like an ace of Hunter Brown's standing, but I think
is there an ace that looks a lot like Hunter Brown out there on the market that they could go get? Someone who pitches almost exactly like Hunter Brown on the market somewhere that's available.
But he wants money, and if you believe what's
all
coming
it takes
out,
is money, baby. Just throw it over there. All it takes is money and really tight pants, and you can have an ace that looks exactly like Hunter Brown as your.
Hunter's not near that gray.
Nah, well, he might do the Dylan Raiola thing and just start cosplaying as Verlander if he spends a season with him.
Yeah, I didn't even write Verlander's name yesterday because I didn't want to like get into that rabbit hole. But I do keep getting.
I'm doing it.
I do keep getting asked about Justin Verlander.
Who else is he going to play for? What are we doing?
Like we've said on numerous occasions, if Jim Crane wants it done, it will.
They got to trade Myers and Paredes and Walker. They got to get that settled. And as soon as the dust settles of that, they'll look at their rotation and say, "Oh, we have X amount of dollars left. Is that enough for you, Justin?" And then we'll see.
Yeah, I do want to make it clear that like I'm certainly not saying it's fait accompli. I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to end up in Houston, but it's
he also doesn't need money. You know, like he at this point in it, like yes, he's going to command he's not going to sign a $2 million deal, but he's not sitting by his phone going like, where's my next meal going to come from? I need to go hit my earning potential here. He wants wins and to be on a good team in a place where he's comfortable. And there's like, you know, a handful of teams that would even come close to matching that. So we'll see.
Yeah. As we've said, if the owner would like it done and if the owner wants it, it will get done. I'm not so sure that it's a complete foregone conclusion. I don't think Justin's going to wait around. Like I know you were kind of being facetious there, but like I don't think Justin's going to like the Astros are the only place he wants to go, and he's going to wait around until February. Like if he gets this is what happened last year. Like he wanted to come back. I mean, he said this. He wanted to come back. The Giants other teams were in pursuit of him. He liked what the Giants sold him. The Giants gave him an offer, and he called Jim. And Jim said, well, we're not in a position right now that we can match that or we can even make you an offer. So Justin said, all right, I'm going to go here. Like this exact thing happened last year. So it could happen this year where Justin wants to come back and, you know, the Astros just are not at a point where they can match what he wants, or, you know, maybe haven't done the other stuff we're talking about. They haven't, you know, figured out their infield. They still have some trade irons in the fire. They don't know what their roster is going to look like. So the Verlander thing is certainly not, it's taken on a life of its own to where it's like now people talk about it as if like, oh, that's going to be like the finishing touch. Like it's done. We're just waiting. Like, no, like, I don't think this is not a thing where this is like done, just not talked about yet. Like, it could get done very quickly if they want it to get done. Don't worry. But I right now, I would not put it as, you know, the 50-50 sort of thing that a lot of people are thought that it was going to be. So they're always going to stay in touch with him. It's always going to be an option. But, right now they're mainly focused on the trade market. They're mainly focused in that area because they still have some pieces that other teams would find attractive. Other teams off the major league roster would find attractive. And the Astros still have some questions in their rotation, even after adding Mike Burrows. Though Mike Burrows does help to answer a good bit about the 2026 Astros. We thank the Astros for giving us something to talk about before the holidays. We will be back during the holidays a little bit, not as frequently, but if we don't talk to you guys before the holiday season, we want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Enjoy the time with your family. Enjoy the time around friends. Enjoy the time around loved ones. Tyler, what is Santa bringing your 3 children?
Well, listen, we would try to not have a lot of toys. I'm also a bit distracted. I'm in my Lucky shirt. Mike Elko is waddling out on Kyle Field right now. We're running out.
Mm-hmm.
We got to put this here, but I will say I asked for a telescope, and the other night Olivia was like, "Dad, it would be so cool to see the stars closer," and I was like, "Buddy, do I have news for you?" I also purchased myself one of those like third-party Guitar Hero controllers because there's a game called Clone Hero that you can play on your computer, and I'm very excited about that. So that's going to be my Christmas present to my family, is me playing Guitar Hero on my computer all day. I'm sure they'll love that. But yeah, it'll be fun. We're going on a big family trip next year to the summer camp that Alicia and I met at, called Pine Cove, and it's wonderful, but it is also quite expensive. So that is most of our Christmas gift, is the promise that 6 months from now we will go on a fun trip.
Again, like we've said, if you need Christmas gifts, if it's December 20th and you need things, crushcityterritoryshop.com/promo/holiday. That's the promo code holiday on crushcityterritoryshop.com. As always, please rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like the YouTube video if you haven't already. We will be back, like I said, next week at some point. But if we don't see you before then, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Holidays, everyone. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Marcel Reed. Bye.